we think we know what happened before the Big Bang. Where you should call it the hot Big Bang. So before the universe was hot and dense, at the time 13.8 billion years ago, which we call the Big Bang, we have a theory called inflation, that the universe was still there, and it was essentially cold and empty, but expanding exponentially fast.
And by empty, you don't just mean a space that had a vacuum. You mean there was no space, don't you?
No. In this theory, space is there. Space-time
so there is a
there.
dimension.
Yeah, the space, the fabric of the universe is there. It's actually filled with a thing in this theory called the inflaton field, which is a kind of stuff that makes space expand very fast.
Right.
So you've got a universe that's just expanding extremely fast.
But with nothing in it.
Yeah, other than this thing called the inflaton field, really. But then that slows down, draws to a close. In doing so, this thing, the inflaton field, collapses and fills the space that's there with energy and ultimately matter, and that's what we call the Big Bang.
So it's like a black hole.
we have a very it's like a space is still there, but it's expanding very, very fast, doubling in size on a very short timescale.
The collapse of it creates an energy.
No, it's the essentially the kind of energy that's in there. Right. This thing called the inflaton field, this stuff, essentially changes form,
right,
and ends up heating the universe up and making the particles out of which we and all the galaxies are made, and that's what we call the Big Bang. Now, we have no idea how long that was going on for. But by the way, we're pretty sure that theory is right because it predicts, amongst other things, amazingly, the distribution of galaxies in the sky. So we've mapped thousands, hundreds of thousands of galaxies, and they're not completely random. There's kind of a pattern to it, and the pattern is characteristic of something called quantum theory. And the mind-blowing idea about this thing is, so we can trace our observable universe with 2 trillion galaxies in it, which is currently just over 90 billion light years across, down to a time when that piece of space was less than a billionth of the size of the nucleus of an atom.
So
you've done that. That was our bit. And when we do the calculations...
Have you done that by reversing sort of redshift? If it's going that fast now, we reverse it and come back, and it was to...
That's what you do to the Big Bang.
That's the Big Bang, but yours is...
Then before that, this period called inflation, you can make predictions of how the seeds of the galaxies were created before the Big Bang and then through the Big Bang. And it works. And it was a prediction that was made before... The pattern in the galaxies was seen, and also something called a cosmic microwave background, which that's actually one of the things when you talk to people on Twitter and say, I don't believe in this Big Bang thing, and I always say, well, you can see it, right? Because you can look out into the sky and you can see light that's travelled for so long that you're seeing the afterglow of the Big Bang, and you can actually see it on the sky. But there are patterns in there that are also predicted by this theory. But the point relevant to our discussion is, we don't know how long that was going on for. We know when it finished, which was the Big Bang, and we know how long there's been since then. Yeah. But we don't have any idea how long that was going on for at all.
Also, their explanation, God did it, is saying nothing really, because what they're saying is they're naming nature and physics God, and they are giving it a will, because that's the only difference between how we talk about nature and how some people talk about God. I'm in awe of the universe and all these magical things that are based in reality and explainable in physics, right? And all I do is not give it a will. That's my only difference. Yeah. So they give it a will, and they give it a goodness, and they give it a reward, and it's not like that.
But that's to give life meaning. That's exactly what I'm talking
to give
about.
Life meaning.
Because without will, without an idea that this is somehow leading towards a better thing, a goodness, as you call it, it is just random activity. However amazing it is still random activity.
But then you're required to think about your place and your responsibility.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key point.